Welcome to the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Krystal. This podcast is for the adventure-loving, purpose-driven, action-minded, authentic, and rebellious entrepreneurs.
Just like us. And just like you, we are trying to figure shit out. So join us as we talk about business and life and everything in between.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. My name is Krystal, and I'm joined by Wendy.
Hello.
We are here for our part 2. If you haven't listened or haven't heard, we signed up for a half marathon at Disney.
Yes, in January. Yay!
So as we were preparing for this, we cannot help but see all of these parallels to signing up for a race and for really running a business.
Yes.
And so we wanted to go through some of those today. What are one of the parallels you see, Wendy?
I see that when you're running a race or participating in an endurance race and running a business is you have to have a goal. You have to have a goal that you are willing to commit, sometimes blood, sometimes sweat, actually always sweat and tears, and usually blood, but that you're willing to commit to reach that goal. You're willing to do it over long periods of time. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to run a half marathon. I'm sure there are people out there who can do that, but chances are they're already running marathons. So they're already doing the hard work. If we're looking at it, entrepreneurs can wake up in the morning and say, oh, I have this great idea. I want to implement it. But what about a CEO?
Oh,
yeah. It just popped into my head that sometimes entrepreneurs are in that stage, the ideation stage. I'm thinking about what it is that I want to achieve. But when you're a CEO, you have to implement that shit. You have to make it happen like day in and day out. And even if it's raining or
I feel super called out.
What?
No, because you're 100% right. You're 100% right. There's no excuse. Like the only reason you fail at this is because of you.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're coming off of a year, 2 years.
2 years.
I don't even know how many years. We're coming off of years of a
lifetime.
Yes, it feels like there's no conception of time. We are coming off of a time period where failure can be attributed to other things. I think that there potentially are outside. I mean, if you're training for a race and you hurt yourself, but here's the thing, what is it that you do then?
Yeah.
You reevaluate your goal, or you change the date of your goal, but no matter how you slice it, it's still really yours.
Yeah. You have total ownership over this.
Yeah.
And so you have total ownership to how well you succeed. There are other external factors. Don't get me wrong. There are other things that happen. Yeah, you have to pivot. You have to adapt. You have to figure out how you're going to overcome that thing. We talked in the last episode about how you and I are in different seasons of life. So our training schedules look different because I have small children and Wendy's kids are a little bit older. Okay, they're a lot older. It is a matter of, okay, I have this problem set.
Yeah.
Not that I want to refer to my children as a problem set, but you know what I mean. I have a problem set. I have an obstacle in the way that gets in the way of what I need to do to get ready for this race. So what am I going to do to overcome it? So it means I got to run late at night. I need to schedule the time in. I need to coordinate schedules with my hubby on some nights to make sure he's not working late because tonight's running night. Tomorrow it's going to rain. I really need to get the run in today for whatever reason. So there's different things and factors. It's the same thing for business. I have to figure out a childcare situation so I can work at home. I have different things that might come up. I have to coordinate schedules because I work from home. There's all kinds of things that you have to factor in.
Well, and really ultimately what the crossover is you have to plan. You want to be successful. I mean, it really takes planning. We all have all these great dreams and ideas, and saying, I want to launch a program, or I want to climb Mount Everest, or whatever it is. It's great to have a dream, but you can't make it reality unless you actually plan for it and figure out what you need to do to make it successful. And one of the things that I know we spend a lot of time focusing on also are creating systems. My systems are pretty simple. If it doesn't go into my calendar on my phone, I don't know about it. It's as simple as the system I follow is the beep on the phone, whether it's waking me up in the morning, and I get up at the same time, unfortunately, even on weekends, which is tremendously annoying. You have systems that include childcare. You have to have, your moving pieces are much more complicated than mine, but we have to have systems that allow us either to run a business or to train for something, because you have to have the dream and you have to have the drive. Once that's in place, you need the plan and you need systems. And then you go back to needing the grit, the intestinal fortitude to do things day in and day out that you may not want to do. Well, that's probably life in general.
Well, that was my number one thing that I had written down, was that sometimes the prep is more fun than the actual execution.
Oh, that's good. I like, and that is
It is a lot of fun, you guys, to shop for the tutu we're going to wear.
Yes.
And to look at, I bought new running shoes. That was pretty fun to plan out. I'm going to put pink streaks in my hair to plan that out. That's been fun. Same thing with running a business. It's a lot more fun to figure out what pens I'm going to buy and the right computer, and even upgrading my fancy iPhone so that I have a better camera to take pictures for marketing, because I need that.
Right. Exactly.
None of that, guys, is going to mean absolute shit unless we actually do something with it.
That is very, very true. Yes. Oh, you know what just popped into my head? I hate when those things happen, except fortuitously. The other thing that is also is we need support. We need a support system. And whether it's a business, we're very fortunate that we have each other to bounce things off. So we're not, what did you call it? The cave.
Oh yeah. So we're not hermits in a cave on our own as an entrepreneur.
It's more fun when you're training for a race with someone else, or you're doing something. It's more fun. And it actually, you can share the complaining and also the, yay, look what I did kind of thing. I think that's also very, very true for entrepreneurs as well, that you need a support system in place that allows you not to be a hermit in a cave.
Yeah, you need community, and you need the accountability too.
Yes.
The accountability has been huge for me. Like I think I said in the last episode, Wendy's a lot of my motivation sometimes to get my butt in gear at the end of the night. Of like, she did her workout this morning. I really should do mine.
When you think about it, there has to be a purpose, a reason why to do this stuff.
Oh yeah. And it can't be vanity.
No.
Like it can't be, I signed up for a race so I can lose weight. You'll fail.
Generally with the business as well, your why, there needs to be a strong enough why. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I just want to make money. Well, maybe you're a single mom who has 3 kids and you have dreams that these children will go to college, or you want them to graduate from college debt free. That is really intense. Why? I think about that. My whole purpose is I want to be there for my loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that I have to get my ass out of bed every single morning to go do things that I never would have done a couple years ago. That's fine, because that's my motivating factor. To some extent, I'm also showing my kids, hey, if mommy does hard things. Okay, sorry, I stole your.
Oh, I think everybody should steal that.
Yeah,
Everybody should steal it. Everybody should steal it. We can do hard things.
Yes.
I stole it from Glennon Doyle, so everybody should just steal it from her.
Oh, I've just been giving you credit for that.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
I have been.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Glennon. I think who you have in your community and who you have in your support network is really important too. One thing I've noticed with training for this race, and same thing when I started my business, everybody all of a sudden is an expert, even though they've never done it before themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people have come out of the woodwork and they want to tell me what my training schedule should be. They're just dead wrong, because I know based on the research that I've done and knowing what my baseline is and where I am at, my training schedule is going to look different than like if my husband were to want to go train for a half marathon tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He can't tell me how to go train for a half marathon because he's not me. We have different body types. We have different physical abilities. We have different baselines and different skills and different gifts. And so his approach and my approach to doing this completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Same for running a business.
Yeah.
You and I have different approaches on how we had to run our businesses, because you and I had different skills or different gaps that needed to be filled in otherwise before we became partners. And so I think it's true. It's amazing how many people who have never run a business before all of a sudden want to give you business advice.
So that's really interesting, because coaching, what's really interesting about that is that you're right. There are a ton of coaches out there that say, hey, this is exactly how you need to train. But a good coach who has experience or has the education and has an understanding will say, you know what, let's sit down. Let's ask some questions. Let's find out exactly. I don't go out and run like you do. I go out and row, but I also have to build in, how do I train my knees to do this? I have a balance where I have to make sure my knees can handle something like that without pushing them to the point that they'd say, no, we're not doing this. Whereas you don't have that problem.
Right.
We can read the same book. Mm-hmm. I think we probably have.
And we are reading the same book.
Exactly.
Actually, on it.
It's just different. You're exactly right. It's the same thing. You can hire a coach, but say like a certified coach who's gone through a coaching program. It's more about the questions you ask to determine what the best fit is. It's not trying to stuff you into a square hole or square plug or whatever that is. It's figuring out what works best for you. That is really important as well.
Yeah. And it's okay for you to have, I'm going to use you and I as an example. We have different goals for this race. Both of us want to finish the race, but different intentions on how and what, and that's okay too. And it's not about a measure up. It's not at all entered in my mind a Krystal versus Wendy thing. It's a Krystal and Wendy are going to finish this race together. Yeah. And it's not a competition. And I think that's really important for entrepreneurs to think of too, is that at the end of the day, as a business owner, we all want to make money. The ways we go about it are going to be different. The end goal is going to be a little bit different. Maybe that figure is going to be a little different. The time we take is going to be different. If you're just working consistently towards the end goal, you have already won.
Yep. Ooh, very good.
Every once in a while, I have my moments.
Yeah. Once in a while, like every 5 minutes. I think that there are a lot of similarities that really cross over between the physical training, physical completion of an endurance event, and really what you need to do to succeed as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, especially.
Well, and I like that you just used the word endurance, because it is an endurance event. This is not going to happen overnight. I will not run 13 miles tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? I cannot. I'm not even going to walk 13 miles tomorrow, but I'm going to do things incrementally starting today that is going to make it time when it does come time to execute that goal is going to be much easier. It's the same thing for a strategy for a launch, you guys. It's the same thing for a strategy for running a business. It is not the intense things that you do every single day. Nobody's running 13 miles a day. I mean, somebody out there is, but it's not us.
But you're doing the 1 mile at a time, the one task at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about forward movement, and you kick butt along the way. Appreciate the small things and reward yourself based on the small things that you accomplish. So we've now basically told the world that we're doing this race in January. Wow.
Does that mean we have to do it in January?
The tutus are ordered. So,
well, yeah. And I did spend a lot of money on running shoes. So
yeah, you know what? Shh. Yeah, so did I. Yep. So we'll report back in January how we did.
Stay tuned, guys. And until next week, happy trails, happy rowing, Wendy.
I'm Wendy, and you're
Krystal.
And we are Serendipitous Rebel. I don't know. Maybe we just that was just trying a new ending. Ending is really awkward. Or is that a whole other podcast topic unto itself?
Endings are transitions. Transitions are awkward.
Gosh.
Transitions are awkward.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And they're so near and dear to my heart. Anyway, enjoy your running, and I will go enjoy my rowing. Mm-hmm. I wish I could row in this race, but that's a weird thing. We'll workshop.
That's a whole different thing. We're going to figure that out. Maybe you're going to come do this running race with me, and I'm going to come do a rowing race with you.
Oh, I'm going to hold you to that one. Okay. So on that note, we'll see you again next week.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a rating.
But only if you liked it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself.
You can learn more about our upcoming masterminding opportunities on our website at serendipitousrebel.com.
And if you have topics you'd like to hear about, be sure to submit them on our website or DM us on social media.
Hey, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.